What's up? It's your boy I Know Mercy, the Mad Hatter, here again to talk about the new Wonder Woman trailer that released earlier this week. And you know what? I just want to say this first. I'm really, really hoping this is a good movie because, well, Batman vs Superman was god awful. Man of Steel wasn't much better. Only slightly, and I still haven't seen Suicide Squad, honestly, but I've been hearing a lot of mixed things, so far DC is pretty much 0 for 3 at this point. They really need Wonder Woman to be good, or else they might as well just cancel the entire thing, or else they might as well just cancel the entire cinematic universe. I doubt they will, they have too much money sunk into it, but you get my point. Okay. The trailer. What do we have? Well, it starts off with Wonder Woman in the present day, I guess. She's in some big office building. I'm assuming is the Themysciran embassy, and I guess she's going through some old stuff and reminiscing, and she finds an old picture of herself and Steve Trevor and two other soldier dudes from World War One. And then we go back in time and we see Diana. Diving into the ocean on Themyscira, rescuing Steve Trevor from his crashed plane, and something I really didn't expect. Apparently, a bunch of soldiers followed Steve onto Themyscira and attacked the Amazons, and the Amazon had to fight back. And there's a scene where one Amazon does this really cool, but I have a feeling completely impractical thing where she shoots an arrow into a side of a cliff, and she's attached to a rope to herself, and she's swinging by and shooting an arrow, and then she gets shot by a bullet. Kind of anticlimactic for all that, but pretty sure that Amazon is dead. And that's something I honestly did not expect from this movie. There have been stories in the comics where people have come to Themyscira to invade the Amazons, but it's never been tied directly to Steve Trevor landing there for the first time, and I think people are just naturally assuming that the soldiers are German, and I'm not entirely sure. Personally, I think it would be more interesting if the soldiers were American and they thought the Amazons had captured Steve and they're trying to get him back. I don't know. They probably are German. But I'm just saying that's where my mind is at. You don't know. Although looking back on it, you can probably actually tell whether or not they're wearing American or German uniforms. So there's that. But yeah, then they show a few scenes of Diana on Themyscira. She's talking to her mother. They're holding some sort of council, I guess. I'm assuming to decide what to do with Steve Trevor and most likely the dead soldiers that they now have littering their beach. And then they have the. It seems like they aren't actually doing the whole Amazon contest thing where they decide who gets to take Steve Trevor back. It seems like it's going to be more like the Justice League cartoon where Diana just decides to leave by herself because Steve is telling her how bad things have gotten and how the First World War is the war to end all wars, which is very much not true, but it probably seemed that way at the time. And Diana decides that she has to help protect the world from evil and shit like that, and she decides to bring Steve Trevor back to Britain, where I'm guessing he was stationed, and she's going to come along with him and help him fight off the Germans. And she does this by stealing the sword and the shield and the signature Wonder Woman armor. And first off the bat, I want to say how colorful this movie is sometimes, and I'm so fucking grateful for that. I mean, Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman were just so bleak and dark and muted, And what's really annoying is that someone actually went back and re-edited certain scenes from Man of Steel with the saturation cranked up, and it looks so much better. I don't know, like, who decided that a realistic looking movie has to have a fucking blue filter over it? Like, I was outside just today and I didn't see a blue filter, and it was cloudy most of the day. I don't know where that particular it was probably the Matrix. It was probably the Matrix, and if it wasn't, I don't care. I'm blaming the Matrix on that shit. So then they show a bunch of different. Show a bunch of different scenes with Diana, sort of finding her place and fighting things. There actually is kind of a funny scene where Steve Trevor goes into this building. I don't think it's a barracks, but I think it's where a lot of his commanding officers are, and he brings in Diana, and they have no idea who the hell this woman is. So they're questioning him. Who the fuck is this woman? Why'd you bring her in here? What is she doing here? And Steve says, she's my secretary. Yep, she's my secretary. That's who she is. Secretary. That's who she is. And I'm just remembering the scene at the end of the first trailer when Etta Candy explains what a secretary is to Diana, and she basically takes that definition as a slave. And I'm just wondering where her head is at in that moment when he says that Diana is, when Steve says that she's his secretary. Did she get the proper context for what an actual secretary is, or does she still see secretary and slave as synonymous? Because if so, Steve's not going to be in a good. Because if so, Steve's in trouble. Because you basically just told the strongest woman on the planet that she's your slave. That's not going to end well for you, dude. Then they show a bunch of different. Then they show Steve getting attacked in an alley. I think in an alley, this dude comes out of nowhere, pulls a gun on Steve. He tries to shoot him, but Diana puts her arm out with the bracelets of submission on, and it blocks a bullet. And what I think is kind of cool is that I don't think she realized that would actually happen. Like I'm pretty sure she saw the Amazon during the fight on Themyscira get shot, and she just figured, oh my god, I have to save Steve from getting shot. I don't want it to happen to my sister to happen to her. And so she puts her arm out, and then boom, the fucking bullet just bounces off. It's like, holy shit, I can do this. And then more dudes come in, and she's into it now. She's blocking bullets and knocking them out and being awesome. And I think it's important, and I think that's another reason why I think they didn't have the contest of champions on Themyscira like they do in the original story, because the end of the contest was the bullets and bracelets, and they obviously didn't have guns on Themyscira, so they probably had like arrows or something like that. But I guess you can figure that, she probably just figured that. Sure, I can block an arrow, but what are the chances I can block a bullet? But then she does it, and she's okay. So fine, cool. My bracelets are bulletproof. Cool, my bullets are bracelet proof. And there's a bunch of different scenes, and there's the German soldiers developing a new chemical weapon. In a few of the earlier scenes, and they actually show a few shots of a woman that I think I actually missed in the first trailer. It's a woman with this plastic mask or some sort of prosthesis over her mouth. I'm not really entirely sure what it is. At first, I wasn't really sure who she was, and I looked on the comments a little bit and did a little digging around, and I think the woman might be Dr. Poison, and that's kind of cool. It's Dr. Poison is a lesser known Wonder Woman villain, and I think it is good to. Wonder Woman's Rogue Gallery is probably of Batman and Superman, of the Holy Trinity of DC. Wonder Woman's Rogues Gallery is probably one of the least known of the Holy Trinity. Everyone knows Lex Luthor, everyone knows Brainiac and Joker and all of Batman and Superman's, especially Batman's villains, but even Superman's villains are fairly well known. I'm not sure how many people know about, say, the Atomic Skull, or fuck, actually, no, I'm blanking on it now. Or, well, you get my point. Everyone knows Lex Luthor and Brainiac, Parasite, Toyman, characters like that. Well, Toyman, but I don't think a lot of people really know about Wonder Woman's villains all that well. We know Ares and Cheetah and Giganta. Cersei is well known, but not as much as the first three. I don't think a lot of people really know many of her weirder enemies. There's a, I don't even know what he is, but he's called Egg Foo Young. I have no idea what the hell he is, but Wonder Woman has a villain that is a giant Chinese egg called Egg Foo Young. Because the 60s were racist as shit. I'm just assuming that was from the 60s. I don't know, but Dr. Poison was a Golden Age villain, not from a while ago. She hasn't really been used that much in the modern age. I think Meredith Finch used her during her run on Wonder Woman, but Meredith Finch did a really from what I've heard is that Meredith Finch did a really shitty job on that book. So take that for what it is. There's a bunch of and another thing is that a lot of people have been saying that the main villain of this story is going to be Ares, and Cersei might play a part in it. And well, no duh, I don't think it's that surprising that Ares is going to be the villain of the Wonder Woman movie, considering he is her most well-known villain. And a lot of people have been saying that this German general dude, who's played by an actor I know, but whose name escapes me at the moment, he's actually Ares disguised as a German soldier so he can further propagate the war. And yeah, it makes sense. I buy that. I just and there is a scene where if you kind of freeze frame it, Wonder Woman has the general dude in her lasso, and he's slamming him down onto a building roof or something like that. So I think that's the moment where she confronts Ares and he reveals who he really is and his big evil master plan and whatever the fuck. There are actually a lot of really cool scenes in here. I honestly didn't think that Wonder Woman would be flying in this. I don't know why. I don't know. I had the feeling she wouldn't be flying, but there are a few scenes where she is in fact flying, and that's cool. And probably one of the best. What is probably going to be one of the best scenes is Diana in a foxhole. The American forces are pinned down, and she just comes right the fuck out, baller as shit, in her badass armor, and this German dude shoots at her, and she just raises her hand and deflects the fucking bullet like a badass. And of course, there's a lot of slow-mo action scenes, which are fucking everywhere, and God, I hope that's not 90% of the fights in this movie, because that's really fucking boring. But she's in there are shots of her in a town. She's helping people, and that's great. And there's actually this really cool fucking scene where I guess a German soldier gets a hold of her sword, and he's trying to attack her. But then she does this badass bicycle kick and kicks him in the head while blocking her own sword with a bracelet at the same time. It's fucking awesome. And then at the end, you have a funny little bit with Etta. She's Diana's trying on a dress, and she's like, "I don't understand how you can fight in this dress." I was like, crap, I actually can't remember what Etta said. She says something like, we don't fight physically," or something like that. What Etta said was really funny. For some reason, I can't remember what it was. I just couldn't remember Diana saying that she can't fight in the really big poofy dress that she's wearing. And I'm hopeful for this movie. I want it to succeed. I really, really want this movie to succeed. Like, I hated Batman vs. Superman, and I didn't like Man of Steel. I have a feeling I'm not going to like Suicide Squad when I get around to watching it. And Wonder Woman is one of my favorite comic book characters, and she's finally getting her own movie, and I want it to be good so much because, there's only been a handful of superhero movies, and Tank Girl was the best. No. Think about this for a second. Out of I'm going to say 5 to 7 superhero movies featuring a woman, Tank Girl was the best. How do you do that? I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked Tank Girl for what it was. It was an okay movie, but it shouldn't be the best of anything. It shouldn't even be the best movie those actors have done in their careers. Let alone the best female-led comic book movie ever made. That is fucking pathetic. But here it is. So far, Tank Girl's the best superhero movie ever made. But hopefully, Wonder Woman will actually be good, and this will be the new gold standard for all female-led superhero movies, or comic book movies, or whatever, because, you know what? We've had some good times with the dudes. We need some women in here. We aren't gonna get a Black Widow movie. That's fine. We got Captain Marvel coming up soon, and we have Wonder Woman. And maybe, who knows, we might get a Black Widow movie. Actually, we will get a Black Widow movie. It's going to be called Ghost in the Shell, but I digress. I guess the one thing I really don't like about this movie so far is the fact that they're going with the origin where Diana is the daughter of Zeus. I'm pretty sure I've gone over this before. If I haven't, here it is. I hate this origin. I really do. I do not like this origin. I think it's unoriginal. I think it's boring. It's hideously derivative. It's not a good origin for her. It's so bland. It's okay, she's the daughter of a god. So, how is that a better story than a woman who can't have children is so desperate she begs the gods to give her one, and it just happens to be one of the strongest human beings on the planet. And she made it out of clay. She literally made a baby. That is straight up Greek mythology right there. Let alone the fact that it has the Immaculate Conception prospect to it. It's just so much better. Whatever. They're going with the stupid, dumbass daughter of Zeus thing. And, maybe they'll include Lennox from Brian Azzarello's run, and he was kind of cool, so, who cares? Who knows? And I really do hope this movie is going to be good. I really want it to be good, and, well, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Alright, I'm I No Mercy. I'll see y'all later.